Me when my only personality is muscles. What's up, guys? This is Jason with Rosati Strength Systems. I'm going to be showing you guys my secrets on how I can eat what I want and still lose weight, and how you can eat what you want and still lose weight. And I want to show you guys that this is definitely a more superior method to what most people do when they try to lose weight, which is dieting and trying to lose weight and trying to cut out all your carbs and trying to cut out all your sugars and all your favorite foods and going to eat super duper clean, trying to be perfect, trying to eat, the perfect diet like keto or Atkins or all this different stuff. I want to show you guys what helped me and what I feel like is really superior. So what I got these methods from was when fitness was first kind of starting out on YouTube. A lot of people started talking about like how you can eat like Pop Tarts and still lose weight, how you can get shredded like eating pizza. And this was like a popular thing back when, in the fitness space when it first started. So if you were on YouTube for that long, you might have heard a lot of these things, and a lot of these things might sound a little bit basic. But I promise, if you're just kind of getting into fitness and weight loss now, this stuff is really going to change the game for you. This is really what's going to help you see the results that you want and help you stay with it long term. So, I want to first off share a little bit about my story and why you should listen to me, because I have experience and I've possibly been in the same boat as you. So, when I was younger, I lost 15. When I was 15 years old, I weighed 210 pounds, and that might not sound super duper heavy, but I definitely had no muscle, and I still didn't really reach my growth spurt. So I was still kind of short. I was like maybe super short. Some people aren't going to call this short, but I was probably like 5'7", 5'8". So, I was just a pudgy kid and I got made fun of for it. My nickname in school was Beef Patty. And, obviously that's something that no high school student wants to hear. So I knew something was definitely going on. One of the moments that really brought me out of this cycle and wanting to get into fitness was I went to the doctor's office and they weighed me in at 210, and they started asking my mom a bunch of questions about like why I'm this heavy. Am I a snacker? Do I eat big meals? And of course she said both, which is probably true. And for me, that was a really scary moment for me. One of the things that the doctor started saying was, if you can maintain this weight until you're 21, then you'll be fine. And I'm like, I can't gain any weight for the next 6 years to be healthy. Like that sounds like kind of messed up to me. So I originally started getting into working out and stuff, and I would kind of follow what a lot of people like online do and what the typical approach is. I tried to like cut out my carbs. I tried to do as much cardio as I could. I was doing a lot of like P90X workouts, like home videos and like running and doing all that stuff. And initially, I saw a good amount of results. I lost like 20 pounds pretty quickly, but I definitely was at like a standstill and a plateau. And I would constantly go through this cycle of like, I'm going to diet and then I binge eat and then I diet and then I binge eat and cheat on my diet and all that stuff. Kind of going through that yo yo cycle, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. And for like almost a year, I was pretty much just maintaining that weight. I couldn't lose the weight. I was pretty much just stuck at that point. So I want to now show what has helped me lose the remaining of that weight and what's helped me keep it off. Because ever since I've lost the weight, I haven't really gained a lot of it back. I've gone through bulking cycles and stuff like that, but that was more intentional weight gain rather than it was like you see a lot of people, they lose a lot of weight and then they gain the weight back unintentionally. So one of the first things that I did was I would do progressive strength training, and this is super important. I started to become really obsessed with like working out and how to do workouts. I would look up workouts all the time online, and I started to get this idea of not doing so much cardio. In fact, that burning calories just while you're exercising isn't as effective as trying to make your metabolism faster, right? Everybody knows somebody that can eat what they want and still lose weight. Oh, this kid, like, all he does is like eat cupcakes and pizza. I've never seen him gain weight. Meanwhile, when I look at something, the weight just comes on without me even eating it, right? Everybody's probably heard that joke before or knows somebody that can eat what they want. And the reason for that is because they probably burn more calories at rest than you do. And of course, that's going to be a genetic factor, but we can't really do anything about genetics. What we can do is we can put in work to make our own metabolisms faster. One of the big problems that people have in the weight loss space is what I call the treadmill effect. So what people do is they try to do a bunch of cardio to lose weight, and then what happens is you lose weight and then your metabolism slows down because there's less of you, right? You have less weight, so you're not burning as much calories at rest anymore. And then you kind of get to this point where you either have to do more cardio or you have to cut more calories in order to lose weight. And that can really put you in a bad place because, how are you going to be able to sustain that for long term, especially if you have more weight to lose? So when you start strength training, what happens is as you're building muscle and getting stronger, the resting metabolic rate is going to improve. So that means that you're going to burn more calories at rest. And it's kind of like an investment, right? Like you can do this long term and you're going to continue to burn more calories at rest as you put on more muscle. So the main thing when it comes to strength training that you have to understand is you need to know how progression works, and you need to have proper form and technique so that way you can activate the muscles right, and that you don't injure yourself, right? Because you don't want to hurt yourself. A lot of people try to go too heavy too quickly, but if you really take like the next 6 to 12 months to just like learn form and really maximize what's called your newbie gains, you can really put yourself in a position to eat what you want and still lose weight. And the reason why eating what you want and losing weight is so effective is because you can stick to it long term, right? So a couple of examples that you could do when it comes to this type of strength training is you could do like 3 full body days a week, or you could do 4 days a week, upper lower. I think those are two very realistic programs. Those are two really good beginner programs, and that's usually the type of flow that I'll program for somebody when they're first starting out with me. Um, it also allows you to recover a lot better, right? Because what most people do is they do like a chest day, a back day, an arm day, a shoulder day, and a leg day. But the problem is if you hit your chest on Monday, your chest is fully recovered by like Wednesday, Thursday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's going to be no stimulation. You're not going to get that same growth. And also you're going to have to do a lot of volume. So now you're going to be really sore versus if you were to do it more frequently. Now you hit your chest a little bit on Monday, a little bit on Wednesday, a little bit on Friday. And you're always going to be stimulating that growth. And it's going to be a lot easier for you to recover. And you're not going to have to do so much volume that's going to make you so sore. Because especially a lot of beginners, that kind of deters them away from strength training is they try to do too much too quickly. They try to do so many sets, or they work with a trainer that really pushes them too hard. Then they get sore. They're not recovering properly, and you kind of have like this bad taste in your mouth when it comes to working out. But if you kind of do it smart, you work on being a little bit more frequent rather than trying to push so hard on one given day, you're going to find that it's a lot easier to recover. You're going to be able to see better results, and you're going to be able to stick to it better because you're actually going to enjoy the process a little bit more. So that's kind of just like the overall of what goes on when it comes to your strength training. Now, from here, we want to now talk about how we're going to eat the favorite foods, right? Well, IIFYM, or If It Fits Your Macros, and flexible dieting, this is pretty much the approach that I took. And if you look at early YouTube fitness, this is all over. There's hundreds of videos on it that you can definitely watch. But this is definitely a topic that this channel is going to be talking about more. So if you want to see more of this, definitely comment, like, subscribe, and all that. So this is definitely was the life changer for me, because the cool thing about it is that you can eat what you want and still lose weight. There are some guidelines that you have to follow. So firstly, you're going to have to track your calorie intake. Okay. If you don't know how many calories that you're consuming, a lot of people will start to, like, one of the big mistakes that beginners make when they're trying to follow this is that I'm tracking my calories, but I'm still not losing weight. I'm eating in a calorie deficit, but I'm not losing weight. But the problem with that is if you were in a calorie deficit, you'd be losing weight. So that means that you're not in a calorie deficit. And that can mean that you're not tracking your calories properly. You don't need to track your calories for your entire life, but by doing it for like a 3 to 6 month period, you're going to learn more about nutrition and learn more about your body than like most personal trainers, most nutritionists, most health professionals will ever know about nutrition, just because you're going to get used to reading labels and understanding how many calories are in certain things and certain food items. Not only do you need to track your calorie intake, but there are certain nutrition guidelines that are required when you're doing this, right? Because even if you are in a calorie deficit, you're still going to lose weight let's say you burn 2,500 calories a day. You eat 2,000 calories of just pizza and ice cream, right? You're still going to lose weight, but you may have a hard time with sustainability because that might not satisfy your hunger, which is another big mistake that people make is they don't eat the right foods and then they try to just fit too much junk food in, and then you wind up just being so hungry because you're not eating enough volume of food and you're not getting enough nutrients in for the day. Because if you're not getting enough nutrients for the day, your body's going to have more cravings and it's going to have more hunger because it still needs to get what it needs, right? So you need to eat 2 servings of fruit and vegetables a day. That's going to cover most of your micronutrients and it's going to cover a lot of your fiber intake. You need at least 10 to 15 grams of fiber per day to aid digestion and to make sure that your stomach is healthy. And you also need to make sure that you're eating around a gram of protein per pound of body weight. So that way your muscles are going to be able to recover from your strength training. Because if you're not eating enough protein, you're not going to be able to build as much muscle. You're not going to be able to recover as well, and you're going to be a lot more sore. And that's a common thing that happens too when people start strength training is they get so sore and they wonder why they're so tired. It's because they're not getting enough protein in. But besides that, also you need to get about a gallon of water a day because you need to make sure that you're hydrated. Hydration is super important. If you're dehydrated, your body's not going to be able to burn fat as well. So you need to make sure that you follow these guidelines. That's kind of like what the catch is. If you follow these guidelines, though, you're able to eat what you want. So let's say you're tracking your calorie intake, you're getting your fruits and vegetables in, you're getting your protein in, and by the time you hit these guidelines, you're at about 1,500 calories for the day. So 1,500 calories has been, healthy foods, grilled chicken, salads, broccoli, ground beef, oatmeal, things of that nature, protein powder, things like that, right? Eggs, egg whites, maybe like low calorie breads, whole wheat breads, things like that. You're drinking a lot of water throughout the day. And then, maybe you have 500, 700 calories left at the end of the day. Maybe you have yourself a bowl of ice cream. Maybe you have yourself some pizza during lunch because you know dinner is going to be healthy. Maybe when you go out to eat with your family, you have like the burger and fries, but you skip out on the ice cream. Or you have the burger, you skip out on the fries, and then you have the ice cream, right? Like you're able to fit those things better into your calories. And then as long as you're having, you're getting your nutrients in from the healthy foods, that remainder calories isn't going to be that big of a deal, right? Like you don't have to eat super perfect and super clean all the time. Just hit those guidelines and then you can fit what you want in. And this makes a more enjoyable process and it helps you stick to things long term, which is the most important thing when it comes to not only losing the weight, it's about keeping it off. You have to stay consistent. So that's going to be the main thing. You have to be able to stick with this long term. And this is a good approach for that. You need to be able to make good habits for yourself and you need to change the bad habits. And that's definitely habits and behavior and understanding how that works is definitely a video topic that I want to go over on this channel. So make sure again that you like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel out a lot. And if you want to start implementing this stuff on your own and you want a little bit of help with that, you can apply to book a call with me just using the description down below. I'll reach out to you personally and make sure that you are able to take this stuff into action. Unfortunately, 95% of you are going to watch this and then never actually apply it. But if you're part of that 5%, if you really want to know how to better apply it to your schedule, go ahead and fill out that application form down below. But otherwise, that's pretty much it for me for today. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it down below, and I'll see you guys next time.